Peggy 18.
Welcome back to the EGL Open London 2016. My name is Chris Trout, aka Trout91. I'm joined by the beautiful Chris Tunn once again. How you doing, my friend?
Straps on now.
You got a straps on?
We might be all right. We might be all right.
You're going to be all right. You're going to be able to get through this one.
Me and Bryce were talking about, do you think my voice sounds better?
I think you sound like almost Barry White-esque.
Wow. that deep. Anyway, Millenium against Orbit is going to be the game coming up in just a second. It is going to be our last game of the day. I'm going to let you run through this while I try and get this lozenge down my throat.
So Millenium, obviously one of the most feared teams in Europe right now, coming up against Orbit. Orbit, obviously a team that, not this specific team, but we're a team that were looking to get into the CWL in the first season. Unfortunately, fell short. But they have got a new roster, and both these teams in the group are currently 2-0 with a map count of 4 each.
Well, I have a feeling that Orbit are not going to have any more maps, because I think Millenium are going to walk away with this one 2-0. You would expect so. Thing is with Millenium, for albeit, I think on top of their game, they are the best team in Europe, if they're on top of their game. But I think consistency has been an issue online. A couple of times they'll go on and they'll stomp somebody like Confused and then lose to Vitality. And that's no disrespect to Vitality. But as we do have the group's map to win-loss there, updated because Orbit have actually lost the map. Makes no difference after this game, though, because, I think if they can bring the consistency of playing as well as they can beat anybody. But again, it's about consistency. I don't know if you've managed to watch them so much online, but there has been times where they've lost games they shouldn't.
Yeah, I do tend to watch them quite a bit when they are on in the CWL. And consistency is kind of an issue for these guys in the actual CWL itself. There are sometimes some players will fire on certain days and others won't quite fire on another day, and it is just one of those things. You want everyone to be firing at the same time to get the optimal play out of your team, and it seems like they're not letting it get to them too much. They are really pulling through. They're still, really putting the hurt down in the CWO, looking really strong. And as we run through the team here for Millenium, Tommy, Swanee, Madcat, and Jerd. Now, 4 absolute monsters in Europe right now.
In their own right, they could literally get in any team, I would say. Every single one of them could slot in any team and make it better.
Well, apart from Tommy, all 3 of them have actually played overseas as well.
Yeah,
for teams.
and it surprises me because I think Tommy is somebody who could do well over, going over the pond. He's got the personality to do it. But this team, as said, just every single player is so strong in their own right. All can individually hold themselves down at any role, any point, any game mode with any weapon.
Well, I thought what was interesting is, because of the ban and protect that was brought into Black Ops 3, I thought this team might struggle at times because people are going to be so fixated on trying to ban out someone like Swanee with those ARs. All the ARs will disappear, which kind of has a knock-on effect that maybe Madcat might not be able to step up to the game if he doesn't have certain ARs that he wants, but it hasn't really affected them. They have still gone out there and smashed people to bits. They have won, I think, 3 lands so far on this game.
I think the thing is with this team is that every one of them can step up at any point needed. If somebody's not having a particularly good game, you've always got those other 3 players on your team that are absolutely phenomenal in their own right. So they can all hold it down if they need to. If somebody's having a bad game, they can be carried, and that's not necessarily an issue. Because that other player who's necessarily having a bad map, next map they could be top of the leaderboard. It's that sort of team. But to talk about Orbit a little bit, I said they are 2-0, so they're looking pretty good to qualify here. 2 tomorrow. Gef Kid there, the first guy on your screen, followed by the rest of his team. Not 100% sure of the names.
Well, I'm sure we'll get an update as to who they are. But, going into the maps, Fringe is going to be what we're looking at first up in this game. Now, you've got to say, so far, that really favors Stronghold. That really does kind of favor a lot of SMG players. Really something that you want to be looking at because of how close some of those hills can be. it's not very much a situation where you can really get a lot of AR control. I mean, there are certain hills like the first hill, but that's more about your scrap time. It's about contesting the two and trying to do as much as you can to keep the other one off and